Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast, a fan podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. As always, like, subscribe, follow, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And don't forget to follow on Instagram, TikTok, and X as well. It is Sunday. We just had a match this morning, drawing against Leeds 1-1. And today is the preview episode, is the post game episode. Following up with that, player ratings will come later on in the episode. Overall, I'm happy we got the draw. First half wasn't the best. We definitely had some struggles. I know a lot of people were looking at the lineup, talking about the multiple defenders, yada yada yada. Listen, we know what the situation is with Manchester United. We know what's there. We know that the depth is an issue. We've talked about it before. We always knew that Mbeumo, Mazraoui, Ahmad were always going to be gone for this time. Maybe any else, Ruben, we're hoping, they'd be back sooner. But unfortunately, they weren't. So we knew there's opportunity that they weren't going to be here. So looking at this, we see, we knew there was going to be, a battle with this squad. We knew that was going to be there. We knew there was something going to be going on. I mentioned, just like Wolves, Newcastle, there was going to be a struggle. Injuries are still there. Mbeumo, De Ligt, Maguire, Mount, Bruno, Mainu, they're still out. So you can include AFCON and say, well, we're 8 players, potentially 6 out of those 8 are our starters, which can be impactful in a game. Since then, some players have kindly stepped up. In our last 3 games, obviously, 1 win, 2 draws. Yes, some people may not find that good enough, but we are lacking issues. We lost Mason Mount due to a knock, which means we're losing an offensive piece to help move the ball. Having him here today would have made a difference. Having Bruno today would have made a difference. Having certain players in the back end potentially could have made a difference. But overall, we had struggles. There was. We are missing those players. And now the debate is coming out now, a lot of post-game reactions talking about the ownership and everything, especially with Ruben Amorim's post-conference. We know that he made his comments. If you have listened to it, please give it a listen to. We see here that some talk about how he is the manager. He's going to be the manager. He's the manager, not the coach, so on and so forth. And basically leading up to now putting pressure on the board to get that there. The board knew about this. The board was going on speculation that, hey, we're going to have these players, only those 3 players are going to be gone. You're right. Some of us didn't expect 5 injuries to 5 key players, but here we are. But we were still lacking depth. We were still missing pieces. Whether they were wing backs, midfielders, there were pieces missing. And why? Not having Bruno today impacted the match. It's true. Like having Bruno or Mount or Bruno or Mainu, Bruno or De Ligt is impactful, to say the least. But we did miss that. Like Bruno and Mount, that attack, even Mainu can come into the mid. Having that is missing there. And Dorgu, who has been great the last 3 games, playing in the position that he is in. I think Aiden Heaven, who has been phenomenal. Today there was an error on him, but at the end of the day, he is still young. I think he's still under the age of 19. So he's starting in a pivotal role at that position. You have Lamens, who is still young. You have players that are still young, that are still developing. Sesko, who I liked the way he was playing today. Yes, he has to take advantage of that. That impacted his player rating today, but he's got to take those opportunities, and he did have those opportunities. Offsides, or our players being aware of offsides, continuing. I think that mental block may have been affecting him because those opportunities that he had, he was called offside. So that could have hesitated him throughout the game. Cunha, who signed this year, who scored again. Just taking a look at, scored again. Let's just take a look at his last 2 games. today. He scored today. He has scored against Aston Villa. He has been playing well. He has been making an impact too for what he has been doing. So we have that going on. We have Cunha, who's been stepping up with some goals. Dorgu, Xerxes as well. We know the 4-4 game, what impacted there. But there again, the one thing that's impacting these games is lack of depth. And it showed today. Ruben Amorim only made one sub. That was Joshua Xerxes, and that sub made an impact, and that got us back in the game. We let in a goal. He made a sub. Boom, Xerxes in, and we scored. He scored, what was it? Yeah, scored right away. Nice little pass, nice little bump, balls in. We got the goal. We're drawing. And there were sometimes opportunities to try and get it in. You saw Cunha getting the opportunity. You saw the fight that Cunha gave. You heard Roy Keane weeks ago talk about that Matheus Cunha has the mentality of a Man United player. He has that dog. He has that dog fight in him. He wants to fight. He wants to keep going. He wants to keep battling out, and he will do whatever it takes. And having no Ahmad and Mbuemo does impact him in a way. It does. It does hurt him because he's not there to defend, like not have a resource. Nothing against Sesko. He gave Sesko's opportunities with the feed. But again, not having that additional body like a Mount or a Bruno in that position where you can move the ball and pass it, get in those tight spaces. The one thing, too, I see that we're lacking is trying to get the set pieces going from corners. That's when you don't have Mbuemo, Ahmad, Bruno. It's like those three. Even when Mount was stepping in, Mount couldn't really fill those free kicks, so on and so forth. You saw some. Excuse me 1 second. You saw the changes that were missing. And the one thing too is you saw that impactful, but Mbuemo, Bruno, Ahmad can always take those corners, those free kicks. They excuse me 1 second. They can always be there to be able to set up those set pieces. Not having them there, but again, Mbuemo and Ahmad, we knew were going to be gone at this time. But losing Bruno, but still having Mount, who can do some corners, but the set pieces, you can see it's lacking. It's not about the creativity, it's just about the lack. And you saw that there today. Sometimes this cough just comes back when you're recording, and it's just like you're trying to get everything going. We do apologize for the interruptions and the cough. But going back to it, in the end, so again, the first half wasn't exciting. Like we looked like we were struggling trying to maintain the ball control. You saw lackadaisical passes. Casemiro today with his passing was, I think, horrendous. Some short passes were great, but when you try to make those long balls, like those intermediary 10-plus yard passes, they were intercepted quickly. The poor decision making, there were struggles there. Defensively, yes, we were there. Obviously, the error that happened with Aiden Heaven and all that, we saw the mistake that happened. But in the end, yes, we got the point, but in the end, there were struggles. Leeds looked to me like the better squad. They definitely moved the ball a bit better, especially on the attack. There was a lot of stress there for this. And listen, Xerxes, I had him in my starting lineup. We may have seen an academy player. Obviously, Amber went with Euro in the back, and then you saw Dorgu going up to more of a wing role, and Dorgu again has been fine. You saw him take shots, you saw him take opportunities, you saw him become that player that he has been the last couple games, and he has been good. He has been. Don't forget, he's only like 20. So you see how good he can be. You see the talent that he has. So I'm happy with it. I am. I'm always happy with it. But the development is going to be there. Sesko, the headers, the shots, you just got to get those confidences. Once he gets one or two in, you're going to see it more open up. That confidence there will help, like Cunha, players that are coming back. We may be having Mount and Bruno back for the Burnley game. There is no confirmation for that. There is talks of Bruno wanting to come back and start training right now, but unfortunately, Amram was not having that as well. But overall, the second half did seem better when we brought Xerxes in. For the final third, looks like better for Xerxes when he came in because of the way he was moving the ball, the foot movement, the way he was playing in that 10. It definitely did change the aspect of it. So he had a massive impact, especially with the assist to Cunha to get his goal. So right now, United are, like today was, again, another example of lack of depth, the impacts the injuries are having. Listen, I think someone said today 5 players or younger were 5 players on the bench were 18 years or younger from the academy, which again, as of 2026, we are in that moment of right now. We're in that moment of the record still going on, 88 years with an academy player making the starting lineup or making the starting squad. But we're at that point where it's being impacted. Like, again, nothing against the academy players. Amram said, like, for this type of game, for what if they were to go in, he would have to protect, like, again, protecting them, especially in this environment. The history of Leeds and United, if you know it, you know it. But the pressure to put on those 18-year-old kids, even younger, could potentially impact them as well and could affect the game as well. So Amram could take a risk and put him in. I'm sure 1 or 2 of them could help them, but at the same time too, it's, you also want to make sure that they're good to go. And for the way things were happening, especially against Leeds, we want to make sure that we're protecting the draw. We had opportunities to go for the win. Obviously, Cunha's offside. There's a Sesko shot that was offside. But again, there were opportunities to take control of that game. But overall, listen, the depth, the everything that's there, it is hurting us a bit, to say the least. I don't know what's going to happen now with the transfer window. The pressure's on. Obviously, with the news recently coming out about the talks of the board and Amram being at opposite ends. But overall today, like, I did like some things that I saw. Didn't like many things. But there definitely were some issues. The first half, again, United looks like they just couldn't get a handle on anything. They started getting it going near the end of the second half. Second half going again. Looks like they were off to the same as they were in the first, but then you saw them bounce back quickly. That is the one thing I've noticed over the last, since the season started, the rebound and the bounce back for this squad. Some of them, the fight, but you're seeing players fight back. We got the goal back. We even tried to take opportunities to get the win. You saw the corners. You saw opportunities. Delo should have been better on that shot with the head from the pass from Licha to him. Obviously the control, but there were opportunities. Cunha, again, I thought was the best player for today. Xerxes making impact. Dorgu, who played very well. He has been in that position, the pressure that he's been putting him on. So, yes, you can look at the defenders in the lineup, but Dorgu played extremely well for what he was doing in that position. He is out of position. A lot of those defenders are out of position. We definitely did a little bit of a 4-3-3, but in the end, certain things there. Let's get to the player ratings, because I did those earlier. Aiden Heaven, take away the goal. Everything else, he was fantastic. I'm going to give him a 6.5. Martinez, for me, 6.7. Shaw, obviously not, like, Shaw looked like he was struggling a little bit today. There's sometimes coming back, but again, crosses were being blocked, not making reads. Some passes weren't the greatest, especially when you're moving forward. Definitely did hurt in the offensive game. Cunha, 7.5 for me. Just, again, like, technically 2 goals, but unofficially 2 goals, officially only 1 goal. But you saw the fight, you saw the movement, you saw the physicality, you saw him with the physicalness of some of the Leeds players. You saw him push through when you saw the one tail end, the 1 point, just going down the line, being pushed out, fighting through with the defenders, and just cutting down low to try and get across through. But Cunha, 7.5. Delo, I don't know. 5.5 for me. Ugarte played well defensively. He was there. He played well. So 6 for me. Casemiro 6. Again, some of his offensive his passing is trying to move forward weren't the best. But for me, still a 6. Sesko 5.5. His hold up play, his movement, you saw that there. You saw him trying to get the ball, but again, fighting with the defenders, trying to get the attack going. His shots, there's some long runs that were given opportunities, but mentally, I think when he was called offside for a couple, I think that may have impacted him when he was trying to make those runs. So a little bit of a confidence dip right there, but overall hold up play, the shots, the headers, you're seeing, you see what's there. The hold up, the movement, everything was there. Him fighting for the ball, the foot movement, it is there. It is there. It's just going to take time. Dorgu 6.8, Lemens 6.8. He was just good. Euro 6, and Xerxes 6.5 with the assist and the change of pace. He was impactful with the game as well. So my lineups will be posted on my social medias, so TikTok, X, Instagram. You'll be seeing those posts there. But overall, again, I'm happy we didn't lose. I kind of knew that we were going to struggle. I'm always going, like I say, every episode, every preview, I'm always going to say we're going for the win, because I believe that we can win this game. We can fight through it, get what's there. But again, the lack of depth and everything is impactful. We're playing Burnley on Wednesday. So I will be aiming to have an episode out. I may do my preview episode tomorrow. Going for that. So yeah, I'm going to aim to do the preview episode tomorrow. Tuesday, I'll have a regular episode out just for follow-up as well. And then later on in the week, preview episode. Excuse me. Preview episode of the women's match, which we have Arsenal at the end. 2 new signings as well, which is what I which I mentioned last week. So I will talk about those new signings as well going into that, which is key, especially with the way the season's going. We have League, we have FA Cup, League Cup, SL. February, we're back for Champions League with matches against Atletico. So that's important as well. Having 2 additional pieces is important as well for depth too. I'll give you a status update as well. So yes, later on in the week, I'll be doing a preview episode for the women's match as well. So yes, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow with the preview episode for Burnley. Tuesday with just an update episode as well. Post game Wednesday, Thursday, preview for the women's squad and catching up on the men's squad, and then post game Saturday against Arsenal, and then we have I'll have to do a preview episode of the FA Cup because we have FA Cup next weekend, the 11th against Brighton too. So yes, it's going to be a busy week. I may drop an episode. Actually, you know what? I won't do the preview episode tomorrow. I'll be back Tuesday with a preview episode and talk about the men's squad. Wednesday post game, Thursday women's preview as well. And then Friday, because there'll be a lot of episodes. So Thursday, you're going to get probably a double preview, a women's squad preview and a men's squad preview, separate episodes. So take a look at that. And I'll catch up with the women's squad details as well as the men's squad in those 2 episodes. So Thursday, you may get a double episode for both. So keep an eye on that. And then, yes, the post games on the weekend as well. So it's going to be a busy week for the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast. Again, don't forget to follow on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And don't forget to listen to whether you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and listening or watching on YouTube as well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, your Sunday. I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.